Do you guys remember the time way back when in the early days of YouTube where people would sit down and talk about their monthly favorites? I have been going down nostalgia memory lane. Even though I think it's good that we've moved away from that consumerist kind of video, I do think there was something really sweet and cozy about someone just sitting down and talking about things that they've been loving, spreading that excitement. There's something kind of whimsical about it, so I thought I would bring it back. I kind of new and improved 2026 version in which I don't only talk about things that I've been buying, but just stuff in my life in general that have been bringing me joy. Let's get into it. First section I want to get into is things that have been improving my mental health. As someone who has been dealing with pretty severe burnout recently, these are some cozy things that I've been incorporating into my day-to-day that I've noticed have made a really big difference. The first one being community. One of my New Year's resolutions this year was to work on being more involved in my immediate community, whether that was volunteering or talking more to my neighbors. I recently worked with the community manager where I live, and I pitched the idea of creating a public free library. We were able to build it together and come up with the idea of where to put it, and just working through the whole process was really rewarding. But now that it's up, it's one of the biggest joys of my life to just walk over to where it is and see what people have been taking and putting in. And it's helped me not only feel more connected to my community, but it's also helped me understand a little bit more what they're into just by the books that they are donating into our free library now. And I have so many ideas as to what I would like to do in the future. It's such a nice way to contribute and have that cyclical community relationship. A lot of the time, because of the current state of the world, we feel very isolated because we are relying on social media to get our connection from. And even though social media can be such a good way to find community, it's been very grounding for me having that village mentality. I would encourage you to figure out ways that you can bring more joy into the people around you, reaching out to friends, making sure that they're doing okay. If they need anything and you have the means, being able to help them out. Are they going through it that they need help? Going over and helping them organize their house. Even though it seems kind of like counterproductive adding something to my plate, at the same time it's something that is so enriching that it kind of balances out because it brings me rest and joy in a different way, if that makes sense. The next cozy activity that I've been absolutely loving and it's been helping me so much is journaling. I recently started a gaming journal and this has been so fun and it has added so much to my life. When I started, I was like, this would just be fun and it would be a good way to be creative and stay organized, but I guess I didn't realize like how much it would actually help with my cozy gaming hobby as a whole, because not only is it a good way for me to be a lot more intentional about the way that I game and keep track of what games I'm playing, what games I'm interested in. It's also a really wonderful way for me to, again, put my creativity into something tangible, sit down for 30 minutes to an hour and focus on doing something that is creative. Obviously, playing the games has always been really rewarding, but the process of looking for ideas online and then figuring out ways that I can apply it to what I want to create, translating it into the stuff and resources that I have, and then being able to have a tangible end result is very fun. And I really love seeing how the journal has changed, making it really, really thick. And I'm really excited for just keeping going and just making this be just like so thick when I'm done. I think doing tandem hobbies is really good if you're neurodivergent because it feeds off of each other. It kind of keeps you accountable on both sides because one hobby feeds the other. So I've been finding that to be very fun. Next cozy thing I want to talk about that has been helping my mental health. It's a little bit rogue, but that is the app limit on my phone. I wouldn't categorize myself as someone who is addicted to their phone or social media, but I do have a hard time setting boundaries when it comes to social media. So I would often wake up and look at my phone and social media immediately, or I would go down a rabbit hole of TikTok videos really late at night. And I've been hearing people talking about the brick, like bricking your phone. It's like this device basically turns your phone into a dumb phone. You like have to tap your phone, blocks your apps so that you're not able to look at them, and you have to like go to a physical space in your home to unblock your phone, so you're less likely to do it. For a while I was actually considering maybe getting one because I was like, it sounds like for a lot of people it's been really helpful, but I was like, you know what, let me try the app limit on my phone and the downtime feature as well. And I've sat down for 30 minutes and tried and figure out what apps I want to limit myself from and what is a good period of time that I should have access to all of these apps in.
Wow. First person voted out of Survivor 49.
As someone who has been dealing with a lot of burnout and is also neurodivergent, I have found that because of the way social media works these days, I have been intaking a lot more information than my brain can process, and that has been very directly influencing my burnout because my brain just can't comprehend how much information I'm giving it. And because I'm on the spectrum, I have a tendency of wanting to process through all of the information that I'm giving my brain thoroughly. So I have this constant backlog of information and it just got to be too much. So I have a window of usage for apps, which is from 11 in the morning to 7 p.m. at night. I usually wake up pretty early, so that means that I have quite a few hours before I have access to social media. And I also go to bed around 8 or 9, so that also means that when I'm in bed, I am not browsing on my phone. So I also set myself app limit. Apps get blocked if I use them for more than a certain amount of time every day. And in that way, even if I have this window span of time and I find myself looking at TikToks for an hour, the app will block instantly and I won't have access to it anymore. Obviously, this is helpful for some people and not so much for other people. I know that some people feel like they have too much access because they can just like ignore the limit and keep going, and I totally understand that. I don't consider myself someone who is like completely addicted to my phone. As much as I am tempted to ignore this limit, I am going to do what's good for me. And that's not to say that I do it perfectly every day, but it has been extremely helpful. That leads me to my other favorite. Because I knew that I would have a hard time just like sitting in the quiet in the morning, I bought myself a word puzzle book. I got this at Five Below. Let me show it to you. I got myself this so that if I felt the need to look at my phone, I could encourage myself to do something that is also dopamine inducing and good for my brain that wasn't looking at a screen. So I've been doing a lot of word puzzles. I had a really hard time with word puzzles before, and this is kind of teaching me that maybe I'm not as bad with them as I thought I was. I find myself waking up, I make myself a warm drink, and I sit with some word puzzles for a little bit before I get into work. It's also a fun activity to do with a loved one. My partner was visiting a couple weeks ago, and we did some word puzzles in the morning together, and they were helping me with my crosswords and stuff, and it was really sweet. However, you don't have to buy yourself anything to be able to do this. I mean, I think it's just the same if you're able to download an app with word puzzle. All the same, it's all good. I do have a couple of phone games that I like to play. They're very like puzzly and stuff. So if I don't feel like doing word puzzles, I can do those puzzles on my phone, and it's just better than waking up and feeling like I'm letting the entire world into my room by looking at social media, if that makes sense. I do want to talk about two food items that I've been really enjoying recently. The first one being gummies. I have been really leaning into nostalgia recently, and one of the ways that I've been doing it is by trying out different flavors of gummies. Bonus points if you're able to go to a candy shop in which they have all of the little containers with the different candies and you're able to pick them and put them in a bag. I think my favorite part is not even so much the gummies, but the process of getting the gummies. So if you haven't had gummies in a while, this is your sign to maybe go to a candy shop and let yourself be a kid again. Another one of my favorites is tea. Just tea in general, making tea, drinking tea, researching about tea, thinking about tea. I found this really good matcha tea that I've been loving recently. I am usually an iced matcha latte person, but this one is so good that I've been enjoying it warm with milk. So I really, really recommend it. I also recently got this lavender infused honey and I've been putting it pretty much everywhere. It is so good for coffee or for matchas, but I especially love it to have with my chamomile tea at the end of the day. I've also been loving making any kinds of iced teas. I just make a regular cup of tea and let it steep for a little bit and then pour it over ice with a little bit of lime, and it is so nice as a little treat at the end of the day. As I am trying to recover from burnout, another thing that I've been doing is not drinking as much coffee, so really getting into all kinds of teas have been really, really helpful in finding ways to make it helpful and delicious and fun for me. So I really recommend that lavender honey. I've been loving Irish breakfast. It was actually a suggestion from some of you guys and I've been having it almost every morning. I love it so much, just with a little bit of honey in it. I also recently tried some Lady Grey, which is the same as All Grey, but it has more citrusy notes and less bergamot in it, and it is really delicious. So underrated. Don't sleep on your Lady Grey. Another food related thing that I wanted to talk about that has been one of my favorites this month is a breakfast movie date. Grabbing a little breakfast, you can go to like your local bagel shop or something, get yourself a nice coffee and a nice bagel breakfast sandwich, and then go to the movies really, really early in the morning, like the first showing of the movie that you want to see. Not only will you be able to have the whole movie theater for yourself, most likely, but it is such a nice way to spend the morning, just eating a little breakfast, spending time with a loved one, and watching a movie that you've been wanting to see. I recently watched Devil Wears Prada 2, which was pretty good. Not as good as the first one, but I enjoyed it. So yeah, breakfast movie dates. We need to have more of those. Moving on to more of my current obsessions. Lately, I've been getting really into Kewpie babies. I went to Miniso for the first time ever, and they had a lot of Kewpie related items, blind boxes, and they also had a keychain. You guys know me, I try to stay away from blind boxes as much as I can because they are always so cute and so tempting. The only ones I get is the Animal Crossing Dream Home ones and my Smiskies. Those are the only things that I try to collect right now because I don't have enough space, and it is such a source of money spending that brings a lot of joy, but at the same time arguably not necessary. But I saw all the Kewpie stuff and I just fell in love because I also went down a rabbit hole on learning the history of Kewpies, and it really resonated with me. The Kewpies were made by a woman artist named Rose O'Neill. She was a feminist and she was the first artist to be featured in a comic strip in the United States, and she also had a big part in protesting for women's rights back in the day. And I just think she was a badass. So being able to still have some of that art and support that legacy in 2026 is so fun to me. And they're also just really cute. So I have been going down a rabbit hole learning more about them and about people who collect them and stuff like that. And it might just be something that I start collecting too. I already have 3 items, so I also really love it because there's a lot of vintage and secondhand that you can get to collect these items too. So it's not just buying blind boxes and new items, but it's also a fun thing to collect in terms of like giving a second life to something that already exists. So I think that's really cool. Another thing that I have been obsessed with, bringing whimsy back into my life. This is like a very popular thing online right now. I think people are making videos about how to make your life more whimsical and stuff like that. And I love love it. I think there's no harm in trying to figure out ways that you can make your life a little bit more special. And one of the ways that I have been trying to do that is just adding more color into my room. So I recently started painting my doors different colors. So you can see in the background, this one's like a crimsicle color, and the actual like entrance door of my room is this really beautiful sagey green color that matches really well with my bedding. I've been really enjoying watching videos of people creating spaces that are so themselves and bring joy, and this is a way that I decided to bring joy into my gamer room. There's also other different ways that I have been trying to add more whimsy into my room and into my house and into my life. But I will be making a video about that very, very soon, so keep an eye out on that. I'm gonna make a vlog where I talk about ways that I have been using whimsy in gaming to heal burnout. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is media that I've been consuming, just cozy stuff that I've been watching and listening to. We're gonna rapid fire because there's a lot of them. First, I want to talk about my current favorite movies. The first one being Ponyo. This has become my absolute favorite Ghibli film in my adulthood. In this movie, you follow the story of a water magical creature that creates a very special friendship with a human. It has the quintessential beautiful Ghibli environment. It does such a beautiful job in telling the day-to-day life story of these humans and the struggles that they go through, but also how they react when they encounter this beautiful magic in their lives and how they make do and stay positive in the face of a world that can feel a little bit daunting sometimes. I love it so much. It is so beautiful. The next movie I have to talk about is Lisa Frankenstein. This is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I feel like it's such a good watch no matter what time of year. Like, it can be really good for these spookier months, but also it's so upbeat and 80s that would be a really good summer watch. This movie follows the story of a girl named Lisa who finds herself in a really weird situation in which she has to kind of create her perfect match. This movie was produced by Diablo Cody, which is the same director that did Jennifer's Body, and it is just as iconic as you would think. So beautiful looking. It is a mixture of comedy and also like a Tim Burton film. It is so good. I can't recommend it enough, and you guys already know how I feel about Frankenstein stuff. This must be one of my favorite Frankenstein's movie ever. Next, I have to talk about Aquamarine. I have been so into everything Aquamarine recently. I think when the summer hits, I just can't stop thinking about this movie. I watch it every summer. This is like a quintessential movie from the early 2000s. If you haven't seen it, it is a movie about two best friends who find a mermaid in their pool, and basically how they navigate their friendship as well as figuring out how to help this mermaid fulfill her wish of staying inland. I love this movie because it is all centered around friendships between women. Now let's talk a little bit about podcasts. I have to say I've been really into my spooky podcasts recently. Two Girls, One Ghost. Reddit stories or submitted stories about ghosts and hauntings. It just feels like gathering around the campfire and sharing ghost stories. It is very cozy, and they also go into like mysteries and like haunted places, and they discuss the story of it. I know this is not everyone's cup of tea, but if you have like a darker curiosity, then you might really like this podcast. Now, as for favorite books, I've been recently reading Wuthering Heights, and I have been really, really loving it. I, of course, started reading it because of all of the dialogue that there is around the newest movie, so I was really interested to have a more well-rounded opinion about the movie and the book, and I have been really loving it. I found a really affordable book to buy, but I'm sure you can find this at any library, to be honest. There are so many quotes in this book that are just absolutely breathtaking. My great mysteries in this world have been Heathcliff's mysteries, and I watched and felt each from the beginning. My great thought in living is himself. If all else perished and he remained, I would still continue to be, and if all else remained and he were annihilated, the universe would turn to a mighty stranger. I should not seem a part of it. My love for Linton is like the foliage in the woods. Time will change it, I'm well aware, as winter changes the trees. My love for Heathcliff resembles the eternal rocks beneath, a source of little visible delight but necessary. Nellie, I am Heathcliff. He's always, always in my mind, not as a pleasure, any more than I am a pleasure to myself, but as my own being. I mean, come on, if that's not the most romantic thing to say. Yeah, I've been really enjoying reading a little bit more of older English literature, and I'm a big fan of Gothic literature. As you guys know, Frankenstein is one of my favorite books of all time. So I have been finding it really cozy to not only be able to read a book that is beautiful, but also being able to kind of experience English literature through these books, because I was not born and raised here in America, so I don't really have that knowledge. So it's really fun for me to be able to experience that through a book like this. So really loving Wuthering Heights at the moment. Now, as for some YouTubers that I've been watching, I have been really loving watching Paloma de Peach. She is a Latinx artist, and she makes a lot of vlogs about her artistic endeavors. And not only her art is amazing, but her as a person is really cool and inspiring. I love watching art vlogs and stuff like that. I also have been watching Little Miss Macaron here on YouTube. She is a smaller YouTuber and just so sweet. She makes a lot of reading vlogs and journaling videos, which have really inspired me with my own journal journey. So I really recommend watching her if you want something really cozy to watch as well. Now, as for music, I will say I have been pretty much singularly listening to the new Noah Kahan album, The Great Divide. I was not a Noah Kahan girly when the first album came out. The last few months, even before the new album came out, I have completely turned into a Noah Kahan fangirl, and the newest album is no exception. It is this kind of folksy sound with these beautiful melodies and gorgeous lyrics. One of those albums that you project your emotions to, and you're able to see them outside of yourself and heal them in some way, or at least it's been for me. Some of my favorite songs on the album are The End of August. You might have heard that one is really popular in social media right now. I also really love Willing and Able. It's a song that talks about sibling relationships that I really relate to. And I also really love We Go Way Back. I also really love Staying Still. Ugh, such a good song. One thing I have been loving as well is Pinteresting, which I think can go into the media. I love Pinteresting any time of year, but I thought it would be fun to include a little bit of like what I'm currently pinning in my Pinterest board. The latest Pinterest board that I've been obsessed with is one that I called Aquamarine Summer, and it is basically just getting ideas and setting intentions about what I want this summer to look like. It's giving me ideas for a little summer bucket list, focusing on the things that really matter to me and simplifying this time of the year. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you also make Pinterest boards for this time of the year. I have been looking at a lot of really nostalgic summer pictures, and I really want to bring that childlike fun that I used to have during the summer to this summer this year in a way that is like very simplified and calm, if that makes sense. Another thing I thought would be fun to include into this favorites video is some of my favorite cat pictures. So these are pictures of my cat for you to enjoy. These are my favorite. I love her so much. And those are all my current favorites. Let me know in the comments how you like this video, and also what kind of things are you enjoying recently. I really enjoyed just yapping at you about things that I've been loving, and hopefully giving you some ideas as to how to bring a little bit more whimsy and positivity and less burnout into your life. If you have any recommendations for me of anything to watch or eat, literally anything, music to listen to, movies to watch, I'm more than happy to listen to them. If you like this video and you made it this far, oh my gosh, please comment in the description a T emoji so that we have our little secret language in the comment section, and that way I know that you made it to the end. Also, remember to like this video and subscribe if you liked it. It helps my channel immensely. And most importantly, remember to take care of yourself, have some rest, have some water, and I will see you in the next video.